Okay, hello everybody. This is episode 17 of Wolf Past Echoes. Got my camera arc back, and today in this episode we're going to use the one-page mythic, but I actually cut out the actual probability yes/no oracle and strictly just kept the discovery meaning. I noticed I used this more often whenever I did actually utilize the one-page mythic, and I just prefer to use my own, D100 oracle just based on chance. So we're going to use that for this one. We're not using the chaos factor or the uh, game uh, mythic GM emulator from before, the cheat sheet. So let's first roll this, start this episode after we recently defeated the prior two Veil assassins who surprised us in our way to Ashward, which is right here. I also kind of cleaned up the section listing locations and factions. So I changed it actually to numbers. A commenter pointed out that this is somewhat similar, that this method is similar to Mythic, where you can actually roll on the list to choose an option. And I had an idea. So if I number these locations, so basically Ravenshade, our first village, is 1 here. 2 is our wolf's birthplace, Ashford. 3 is Haldreth, the city where we were in quite some time. That's how they're lined up. So basically, if we ever reach a point in the story where I need to roll for if I have a question where something came from or where something may be, a quest item, an end result, an end game, then I'll roll like a D10 or D6, however many locations we discover. Basically, a dice that's close to the current discovered quantity of locations. And if I land on that result, that's where the thing is. So, or another the other aspect of it was I choose a dice that is higher than the discovered amount of locations. For example, a D8 compared to the 3 locations we have so far. 4 through 8 is basically anything unknown. So if I roll it and it's 3, that would be Haldreth. But if I roll again and if it's 8, then it's unknown. We've never been there before. So we would just basically have to explore and find this 8 location. Same thing goes with factions and any other list we develop in the future. So let's go back to our world map here that is improperly on a grid and not a hex map. And let's roll our first meaning check for today. I might do, if I continue using the one-page mythic, which is by far my favorite, I will use this each episode to start things out. If it's a fresh start, if we don't close the prior episode on a meaningful spot, then or I'm sorry, if we close the session during a scene, then we will continue the next episode, respectively. But this is typically after something, after we accomplish something for the prior episode. All right, just a little more brightness in my camera there. So let's roll our first discovery, and that's action. What exactly is going to happen here? 30 on the list is deceit. So I'll put deceit here. And the same commenter pointed out that if I land on something that's X technology, that I believe the commenter was in my prior episode, uh, they said that could mean magic. So obviously these being vague enough to be twisted for the setting itself. So deceit's our first descriptor or discovery. The second one is 64. That's going to be natural. Deceit natural. As our party Wholf and Jory approach the ruins of Ashford. So we are approaching Ashford as we speak. Deceit and natural, meaning it's occurring because we have the scroll. Deceit, I would say it's a negative concept. It's a negative approach. Ashford, it looks very different. It looks twisted, dark, and unapproachable. So I'm going to say it is twisted, darkness. There are shadowy remnants kind of lurking about the area. So as we approach, I'm going to do a notice roll for Wholf, and here is our first roll for today. And also, this is I'm going to be using my two Fate house roll. Fate two, two Fate. I think it's two Fate. The target number, much like Savage rules, is always 2. And the modifier is applied to the roll total, not to the actual target number. So with it being 2, we have to consider the implications here. First, is there anything that's going to impact a roll or benefit us, negatively or positively? Let's think about this. We are approaching the village voluntarily. We're not being forced to do this. Well, it's kind of on Wholf's, his reputation is on the line here, or he's also curious about what's beneath, and everyone else is, after the scroll. So we do have the pressure campaign from the factions per se. We have the Veil, the Arcane Veil, and also the Archives. So that is pressure. That's probably um, either a negative one or positive one. It can be seen as a positive because we are Hulk is more aware now that there's going to be potentially trouble. So let's add that as a +1 to the roll. And then also we're seeing, as we described, the area surrounding Ashford is wilderness. It's dead. It's more not a desert, but just deadlands. So considering it's mostly tree bark, dirt, sand, tumbleweeds, it's a mix of desert and just dead forest, or dead grasslands, I should say. Maybe that's a better definition. Dead grasslands in this sector here of the map, the southern island of Escobar. So that adds to it's easier to see things from when you generally approach them, at least from a distance. There's not really much obstruction, but because there's darkness, that also may cause a hindrance for our perception. So that's a -1. And because of that, I'm going to say we are back at 2. Think about it. +1, -1. Doesn't change anything. However, I can invoke a certain aspect here where either Eagle Vision or Exposed to the Dark Realms. I think Exposed to the Dark Realms is probably going to be more relevant, more usable here. That will because we're experienced with darkness, the shadows. These obviously Ashford is just contaminated with darkness from as it's a passage through the Dark Realms. So that is me a +2 on our roll here with the standard difficulty of 2. So we gain a +2 bonus on this next roll. Let's use our 2 transparent red die. The darker die are for obstacles or threats. So we're rolling our 4 dice here, and we're shooting for that target number of 2 with a +2 bonus, including, yes, the +2. And then notice we have +4. Almost forgot. So +2 is the essentially an aspect, internal aspect, not a ATM. So we have +4 total on this roll. Okay, so that's -1, -2, -3, -2. Now, -2 minus from our 4 is +2, which means we get the mark. So we get it as 2 success, which means we notice something, but with an implication. So what do we notice? What exactly is going on here in the ruins of Ashford? And as we're going to roll, let's roll, once again, let's roll a action and descriptor. So the first one's 70. We notice it is mundane. Okay, mundane. Something quite simple. And then the descriptor, 42, the description is helpful though. Interesting, it's helpful. So, hmm, helpful and mundane. These two can go either way. The setback has to be the following. So, with that being said, helpful mundane has to be a positive. But the setback, let's say, is the following: 11, dirty. All right. Now, dirty could mean metaphorically it's dirty, or figuratively it's dirty, or actually it is covered in dirt. Well, I want to pursue that passage here. So 50% chance it actually has to do it's covered with dirt. 50% chance. Oh my gosh, I landed right on it. It is partially covered with dirt. So whatever we're thinking about right now is partially covered with dirt. So partially covered. Let's just say it's partially covered with something. Mundane, I don't know how to pick that up. Mundane can be anything. It could be a building. It could be a structure. We could say it's a structure. Let's say 75% chance it's a structure because the ruins have a lot of parts of the village all over the place and damaged. So 75% chance. Yep, it's a structure. So partially covered. It's a structure, a piece. Maybe the 35% chance on 70. Oh, that's half 70. Well, 75, but 70 close enough. So it is half of a structure. So it's broken down. Mundane, helpful though. It has to be helpful, but it's covered, so we have to find it. So we're looking for a hatch. That's it. It's mundane. A hatch is helpful, so we're looking for a hatch, an access point. So this vault is obviously underneath. We're looking for the vault, and this hatch goes down to the vault. So it's mundane. A hatch is fairly mundane. You open it up, and it makes sense. Dirty means it's covered by dirt just through natural, the natural occurrence of age, and this place is in ruins. So the hatch is what we're looking for to get to the vault. Classic. When you get down the vault, we're going to probably have a dungeon scroll here, a dungeon crawl, but not really any dungeon per se on paper here. So we know, either of us know it, that we did a notice roll and we saw this hatch. That's really strange. I think the notice roll is tied to potentially how would Wholf see this hatch from a distance? He sees that there's wind. Oh, you know what? The shadows are working with Wholf. So as they enter Ashford, they're looking around. They're wondering, what are we going to dig? Are we going to literally dig a hole in this place? We don't have a shovel handy. Jory is thinking about any mystical or magical ways we can find, you know, a vault per se. But then the shadows start to surround Wholf because again, he's the chosen one in the story. He's the main character. Syndrome. He is the heir of Ashford. So we're going to do we're kind of leading up to the notice roll. We're taking a step back. So I'm going to compel the high concept of the heir of Ashford and bound by lineage. So we're kind of compelling twice here. But I'm going to accept the compel, which means it gives him a fresh point. Oh, we actually spent the point from earlier. I forgot. So we're back to 3. We compelled just now, but we spent earlier, so we're back to 3. Forgot to withdraw that from the bank. So the shadows are compelling. We're compelling our character Hulk be uh, to follow the shadows. It's like these strange little waves of darkness that have a physical presence. So they're kind of going around Wholf, and then he looks up, and they're kind of directing him in the direction of a hatch. So the shadowy guidance is actually an aspect, if I think about it now. I just realized that. So we're rolling ATM. That's going to be one of them. Let's do an ATM roll, aspect of moment. The next one, the second one will be 25. Let's just do 2 for now. 25, create, which we just did. 16, create damage. Okay, so create damage. Maybe break the hatch. Shadowy guidance. So either break the hatch or shadowy guidance. I'm going to use shadowy guidance. That'll be a +2, obviously. Create damage to me to break the hatch with physical strength. That's +2 with a fight roll. And shadowy guidance would be a +2 on anything that has to do with investigation, I think. So INV, investigation. So we are following the Wolf sees. The notice roll kind of adds to seeing the shadows. So we discover the shadows, and they lead us to the hatch. So Jory sees the hatch, and he's very internally he's very happy that he's getting close to his betrayal moment. And um, As we approach the hatch, it is obviously partially covered with dirt, like dust or the gravel, and it is an iron door, maybe. The hatch is just an iron door. There's nothing to see through it, but there is obviously a handle. But it looks like there's actually a ruin, like a rune, a shape for a rune. So let's see. The hatch has a has a keyhole for something, for a rune, some kind of item. And the shadows, we're going to use. Jory says, "Well, why don't we try to pry it open with something? Let's use our." He's like, "Let me use my staff," as he thinks, he's trying to hurry this up. But well, Holt is kind of looking at the shadows. He's like, he's accepting it. He's remember, be compelled. So he gets the ATM. We're going to roll investigate, and it'll be a standard +2. I'd say with the advantage, we have the +2, which is a modifier, a benefit. And we're going to use the ATM shadowy guidance. That's +2. So we're investigating another way to get in. Now investigate's +1, so that's 3 total. Interference. Look at that. It's just kind of hanging on for a thread. I'm going to use the positive it landed on. So that's 1 bonus. So that's 2 with investigate total, which means we hit the mark. So we're doing investigate with a +2 bonus, and we got 2 total. Now let's flip this page here. And as we got that, we got 2 total for the hatch. We're doing investigate, and we rolled 2 total. And now we need we need an action descriptor on what the shadows are telling Wholf, whether he's looking at a hint or he's being told through his mind. 61. Increase, and then we also going to roll the descriptors. 41. Helpful. Oh, okay, that's good. Helpful increase. He's actually able to command the shadows to shape themselves as hands and grab the hatch and pull the sucker off. So with doing that, he commands shadows to form hands and pull the hatch open, which is Jory is like, oh my gosh, he's like internally Jory as the villain, he's worried now. Now, this is actually a stunt. In doing this, I think this gives Wholf a new aspect, this very moment in time. So as the GM, I'm going to give this to him. So we're going to erase, I'm going to replace one of my 2 aspects here, either Eagle Vision or Exposed by the Dark Realms, Exposed to the Dark Realms. This could be the same aspect, but now it's evolving. So we're actually upgrading this aspect to control of darkness, or let's say control. Whoops, that is not an F. I got too used to typing in the last 15 episodes. Control of shadows. But it takes such effort that in doing so, he take. Oh, let's reset my stress. I almost forgot about that. There we go. He takes a mental stress. Um, yes, he takes a mental stress. That that hatch was very old and locked. Not locked. It was closed and just over time, over 30 years, it just kind of settled in and natural the atmosphere and just reality itself, and it just got closed up pretty hard. So the shadows grab the hatch and pull it open. It rips and tosses aside, and a bunch of cold air, actually warm air, comes busting out of the hatch, and you can hear groans and screams coming from the hatch. So the hatch is open to start here. Hatch is open. I think we are in episode 17. I should remind myself here. Yep, episode 17. And we are now, so write this down here, episode 17, and we are currently in Ashford. Just help keep track of location. I'm not really bothering to track the time of day or the weather. I'm not really doing that for here for the sake of the story. Just keep things moving along. So hatch is open using the shadows, and there we go. Jory is his eyes are wide open. He literally says, "Holy shit!" And Wholf is just still kind of compelled by the shadows. He turns to Jory and says, "Well, down we go." As he gestures to the vault, and Jory says, "After you, my friend." And Wholf is going to enter the hatch. Okay, so we now enter the area below Ashford. Let's think of a name for this. So here's what I'm going to do. This is an area that's underneath Ashford. I could just say area beneath Ashford. Let's just say that. Enter the area below, for now, this is a placeholder. Area below Ashford. Well, I guess it is the vault, but the vault's more the final destination in underneath this area, this dungeon. So I'm just going to say we assume we have a torch, so that'll give us we have a torch. I'll just say that for story's sake. That gives us a +2 if we need anything for lighting. Um, we're climbing down this ladder, and we reach the bottom, and it's not a sewer. I don't think this village would have a sewer system, a plumbing system, but it is a tunnel. So it's a dark gray brick tunnel, and we get to the bottom of it. So let's say there's a tunnel. It's this darkness. Let's actually roll a few things on the descriptors here. 47, just descriptors, not the actions. 47, lacking. I can see that, lacking. And then another one, 94, strange. Lacking oxygen. So the air, for some reason, is really thin. It's hard to breathe. I just randomly thought of that. So it is hard to breathe, lack of oxygen. It's strange too. So lacking, strange. That thing makes me think that it's strange because they're underground and there's going to be air, but it's hard to breathe. So as Jory then steps down from the ladder. He's kind of covering his face, like, why is it so hard to breathe? And Holfus has torches looking around. Jory his staff probably lights up. So I'll say Jory, the torch is currently in Holf's hands. Holf has it. Jory is using his staff to light up the area using staff. Yeah, okay, using staff. There we go. All right. All right, so while they're looking around, let's roll to see if anything happens while they're down here. I don't think there would be anything that happens down here. The assassins, anything that has related to the arcane veil, they're upstairs. They're on the top floor. They're on the ground level of the area. So that's going to be out of the picture. The archive's going to be down here. We're the first humans down here in almost half a century. So let's roll to see what exactly. Let's use this as just a way to roll, see what happens. It's not an oracle question, or it is a question, but we're using this instead of just asking a percentage. 29. So let's see here. 29 is going to be deceit. I don't want to use. I don't like using the same thing twice in the same session. Not often. 48. Fears. Oh, I have an idea for that. That might be on Jory's side of the side on his side of the grass here. 54. This is for the descriptor loud. Oh, okay. So Both Jory, you know what? I'm thinking this actually applies to Jory. Does this next sudden moment apply to Jory? 75% chance. 17. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's a yes. Okay. So this happens to Jory. This area is more in tune, favoring Wholf. This is his home. So uh, I'm going to say these halls are in tune with Wholf. Jory, whether or not he's evil, he's an outsider. He's not welcome here. So the minute he starts to kind of approach, they walk the tunnel, he starts hearing voices, the darkness starts surrounding his body, and he starts screaming in pain. So he has to do a check here. Um, let's use, again, I like to use mine. This would be willpower, so +3. But because he's an outsider, -2, so only a +1 on this roll. Target number as always is 2. Flat. So +1, he fails. Well, it's a partial success if you want to consider it. He is scream. We can do an assist. Will helps him, snaps him back out of it. So he starts seeing visions of his past and then his hopes and what he wants to accomplish here by getting the power of whatever comes in the vault. He starts seeing like Hulk is dead, but then he starts seeing himself as dead. It's a combination of both. He starts seeing his past time as the leader of the Arcane Veil, doing all these chaotic, evil things, and it's all hitting. It's a 360 sound. It's a surround sound. It's all hitting at once. Every sense of him fibers. So he takes one. Actually takes 2 mental stress. So Jory is being mentally attacked from all sides here. He takes 2 stress boxes, 2 stress, mental stress, obviously. So underline that. And Wholf is going to he's seeing this. He goes, Jory, what's going on? And Jory is on the ground, turning and twisting, and his staff falls over. And he's going to try to help him. So with that, that will be what skill would that be? Trying to help somebody. Empathy, probably. Investigate, no. Report, no. Willpower, maybe. Let's use empathy. So, and I'm going to invoke lessons taught by Edwin, or better yet, bound control shadows that will spend a fate point. That gives us a +2. So, uh, Wholf will help using, whoops, using empathy because it is a mental action that's going on right now. I'll sharpen my pencil here. Okay, and also empathy. We have invoking of control shadows. That's a +2 of the aspect, and we're shooting that for that +2 as usual. So we're allowed to invoke it because this is in our own territory for Hulk, whether he knows it or not. So we're shooting for the target number 2. We have +2 aspect, and our empathy is 1. So we have a total of +3. Ooh, that's 5. Okay, so 5 was the roll. Not bad at all. Pretty good. 5 total. As Wolf grabs the shoulders and starts trying to snap Jory out of it, I think because Hoth is doing this, he is connecting the fact to the area, the shadowy force that's in these tunnels, that Jory is now welcome. So he allows him to be unintentionally joining the area itself. So he helps Jory. Jory is now welcome, if that makes sense. He is welcome. Okay. So he snaps him out and he stands up. He's all sweaty. He's like, oh gosh, what? he doesn't want to spill too much. Like, he's like, I'm gonna betray you. Thank you so much. I'm not gonna betray you anymore. He's not gonna do that. He's like, oh, my head. I felt like I just got ran over by a carriage or something like that. So we'll erase the two stress boxes for now, or just reduce it to one because of that. And he stands back up with his staff, obviously. He's just, Wolf, thank you, my friend. I owe you. And then Wholf, sorry, not Wolf. Wholf is like, consider it even because again, Jory helped him out a lot, and Wholf helped him out a few times. So they're kind of it's only hard to keep track of who saved who, how many times. So then, as they help each other up, they see a glow at the end of the tunnel. It looks like a doorway. So uh, actually, let's just do this. Let's roll to action. 31, decrease, 55, mechanical. Ooh, okay. So let's see, decrease, mechanical. Oh, a chain. So it's a door. So as they then continue to walk. They continue through the tunnel, and they see a door, a large iron door. It's huge. Let's do XL. It's a large shirt, extra large shirt, iron door. But there's a chain, so it's controlled or it's tied to a chain. And a chain. Yeah, I'll just say yeah, because the crease and mechanical. I think there's a oh, the chain is actually tangible. It is a force shaped with shadow as a chain. So the chain is locking the door. It's like an X locking the door. Oh, that's awesome. So, it's a with shadows, with darkness, I should say. Bro, let's do darkness. And there we go. That's where I'm going to end this episode. So our team, both Hulk and Joy, encounter this large, vast iron door, these double doors, and it's closed off with a giant X-shaped chain link that is being held together by some strange shadowy force that's probably still coexisting with what we encountered earlier. And there you go. Wow. I enjoyed that. It's been a solid half an hour. I hope you guys liked it. In the next episode, we're going to see what's behind this iron door. That's probably the vault. And it doesn't just say "Welcome to the vault" above, above the door here, but the fact we're using vault terminology, which I'm thinking Fallout now. This could be a mix of Fallout and Elder Scrolls. So about that, I kind of did abandon the Elder Scrolls lore, but it did kind of shape this adventure a bit, at least in the AI pursuit. Now it's turning into Fallout with a vault. But nevertheless, hope you guys enjoyed. This really helped. I loved how this played, and we used it incoherent or not incoherently. We used it inconsistently at random times. But this really helps set a scene up and also moments of writer's block. This really does help. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I sure did, as always, and I will see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.